In the apocalypse, everything will change. Prepare for the hazards of survival with Zombucks, currency of the apocalypse, before it's too late.
Well, how this got started is basically a group of residents came to us during one of our open meetings, and I think this was on gun legislation, and they were just very frustrated and asked us the question, what can we do? We're obviously not being listened or heard down at the Capitol. What are our options? And obviously we did look into it, and we do have several options. We could petition into a neighboring state, Wyoming, Nebraska, Kansas, or we can look into what it would take to start our own state. And obviously, like many conversations, this was just a conversation that we had amongst ourselves. But then we approached the other 6 counties that were originally a part of Weld County, which is out east of us: Logan, Morgan, Yuma, Sedgwick, Phillips, Washington, and we asked their opinion of it. And frankly, the response we got was overwhelmingly not only yes, but hell yes. We need to really look at this seriously.
Hi everyone, welcome back to AMTV. I'm Topher Morrison. Make no mistake about it, the 51st state of northern Colorado will face a long and arduous road ahead. Only 5 other states have accomplished such a feat. The last was West Virginia, and that was during the Civil War. Now, to make it happen, each county wishing to form a new state must place it on their respective ballots. Weld County commissioners voted unanimously on Monday to place the measure on a November 5th ballot. It will ask voters whether they want to join other rural counties in forming another state. In fact, Colorado counties are not the only ones ready to throw in. Neighboring Wyoming, Nebraska, and Kansas are also considering in what would become a multi-state effort. Now, should the November 5th ballot pass in Weld and other counties, it will go to the Colorado State Legislature, dominated by Democrats in both houses, where legislators would have to amend the state constitution to configure the state's borders. After that, the governor of Colorado, also a Democrat, will have to sign it and send the new designs to the United States Congress for approval, requiring a majority vote in both the Senate and the House of Representatives. This is not just a bill, as it does not require the president's signature. The question is then, why should Democrats vote for it? Before we get into that, what would northern Colorado look like? A local news station gives us the breakdown.
Here's what the new state of northern Colorado would look like by the numbers. If Weld County left, along with the other counties reportedly showing interest, they would take about 7% of Colorado's population. It would become the least populous state in the nation, 40% smaller than the 50th in population, Wyoming. In land area, northern Colorado would be the 42nd largest state, bigger than Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and Hawaii. It would be one of the reddest states in America. Republicans would hold a 20% voter registration edge. Compare that to the 1.5% edge the GOP currently holds in Colorado. But still, northern Colorado would not be as red as Texas, Utah, Idaho, or Wyoming. The size of its economy is tougher to measure because GDP isn't calculated for each county. It's fair to say it would rank dead last among the states. Weld County's GDP is roughly 1/3 the size of Vermont's. Northern Colorado as a state. Land as far as the eye can see. People, not as plenty. And as red as the center of a Swift & Company steak.
I have no idea what a Swift & Company steak looks like, but it's obviously red, and it's obviously not something liberals want more of, especially the vegan wing of the Democratic Party. So while progressives and the like claim this is all over rifle-toting Bible thumpers and their refusal to adhere to environmental regulations, there is a deep irony the Main Street and the ostensible alternative media are not covering, as according to these rural Coloradans, they're not being listened to.
Kirkmeyer speaking about her experience last legislative session when she fought against Senate Bill 252. It passed and requires energy suppliers in small towns to double renewable energy requirements.
What are we supposed to do in rural Colorado?
Board members say they've tried to talk to Governor Hickenlooper about oil and gas and drought issues last year that affected farms, but no one listened.
We asked him to declare a drought and a statewide emergency for here in Weld County. We were told no.
We really feel in northern and northeastern Colorado that we are ignored, citizens' concerns are ignored, and we truly feel disenfranchised.
Well, that should sound a few liberal alarms, right? At the very utterance of disenfranchisement, shouldn't the Department of Justice be breathlessly deploying the Community Relations Service to Weld County and immediately begin rubbing backs and organizing rallies? No? I guess only urban areas deserve that kind of special attention, not rural Coloradans? But aren't these guys working class? Farmers? Blue collar?
There are several reasons why they want to secede to form their 51st perfect libertarian and Randian state.
Some may indeed call this crackpottopia or Galt's Gulch. I mean, who wants to live in those tiny dystopic capitalistic wastelands like Hong Kong, Singapore, Dubai, and Switzerland? Silly libtards. However, secession, as I've reported on before, is not just for rednecks anymore. Scotland, Wales, Catalonia, and Venice, among others, all have nascent separatist movements seeking local government. The irony here is the fact that Democrats are willing to undermine truly representative democracy in favor of ideological and unproven policies like renewable energy quotas and demonstrably ineffectual gun legislation. Why not give them a chance? Aren't the states supposed to be laboratories of democracy? What do liberals think might happen?
And what I love is that, like, they talk about liberals being like, you're cowards, you just run away from conflict. But like, because some laws are being passed that might fine you for breaking laws and spilling oil all over the place, we're gonna form our own state where we can have guns and oil spills. And how fucking awful would that state be? Where, like, the main impetus for creating it is we don't want to be regulated in how we throw oil all over the place, and we just want to have everybody toting around guns. It's just going to be on fire and shot up inside of the first few years.
Wow. May I pose a different argument than rural Coloradans enjoy petrol baths and shooting each other in the foot? Think about it. Your vote means more in your hometown voting for mayor than it does voting for president. You get better food by buying locally. Why wouldn't you get better governments if you govern locally? Nutrition, like accountability in both cases, shoot through the roof. Your vote means more when your political size is reduced. Both states of Colorado would therefore benefit. Likewise, California, Texas, New York, and Florida would all benefit from downsizing a little. You know, shedding off a few electoral lbs. In other words, for you Democrats out there, your voice is strengthened. Your citizenship is, wait for it, empowered. Who knows? Maybe Denver wants to create, I don't know, granolatopia. Let them try. Why the pushback? Well, according to one former political science professor at the University of Northern Colorado in the Denver Post, quote, "It's just going to be seen as a crackpot idea by a bunch of crackpot commissioners, some of whom are term limited. All the rest of the states are not going to want to share their federal aid with this new state. And Colorado is not going to give up oil and gas money on a whim." So it's all about money. Well, that's nothing new in politics, and it definitely will keep Northern Colorado from realizing the benefits of a more representative state. But who knows? Perhaps this call for new statehood will turn a few heads in Denver, or perhaps alternatives like establishing representation relative to geographical area rather than by population will see the light of day. Whatever change is to come, it's important to consider that while two heads can be better than one, too many heads is oftentimes just what it sounds like, a headache. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe, like, and share it with your friends and family. Follow me on Facebook at The Real Topher Morrison and on Twitter at AMTV News. Check out my other videos here or visit amtvmedia.com. And if you really liked our stuff, we're asking for your help to keep us independent by donating $5 a month to alternative media.